Guys, welcome back to my channel. We're back. It's so good to be back here. How are you guys doing? I'm so happy to be here. I'm doing okay. Life has been lifing. But God is good. Okay, God is good. So if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and for clicking on my video. I'm so grateful. If you're a returning subscriber, you guys are the real VIPs. You are the real MVPs. Thank you so much. Always coming back to watch my videos, even though I've been inconsistent. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, so for people who are new here, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Faith Olubordi, and on this channel, I film about faith, love, relationship, and lifestyle from Umuahia, Nigeria. And today, we're just going to be talking about something really briefly, and that is the dating scene. The PR for marriage these days is so terrible, it is scary. It is so terrible, it is scary. And for someone who grew up with parents that were cool, my parents have quite a good marriage, and growing up, marriage was always a thing, there was no fear, there was nothing. But now the PR, the media, everything, left, right, and center, someone is complaining about marriage, someone is talking about this, someone is I was just like, what's going on? But at the same time, I believe that there are thriving marriages, and I believe that there are marriages that are doing absolutely beautiful. There are people that what you see is what you get. They're not pretending. They're not trying to do PDA when inside they are messing it up. Or for people like my parents who don't PDA, but they're cool and they're good, you just realize fact that they're actually good marriages. We're just the one who we've gotten so carried away by what we see on social media and celebrating marriages and all of those things, and we have set them as standard, right? But regardless of all of these things, there are still people who, whether they had parents who had good marriages or not, they're either going to have good or bad marriages, right? Some people have parents who had good marriages and still have good marriages, but somehow they mess up when it's time for marriage, they miss it, they make mistakes, and we can't really blame them, life doesn't really prepare us for some of these things and some of these decisions that we end up making. But some people end up regretting. Some people have parents who have bad marriages, but they get the right information, they make the right decisions, and they're good and better for it, right? So at the end of the day, whether you're coming from good or bad, it really doesn't determine where you're going to end up. If you don't make that decision for yourself, nobody's gonna help anybody, right? So there are a few things that I feel like, especially for women, I'm talking to women. I'm a woman, right? I always say that when I've realized that when women talk a lot about women or talk to women, it's not because they're trying to sideline the men. It's because really you can only speak from the perspective of who you are, right? You can only speak as a woman and as a female. And the struggle and the tussle that we have these days of women are always talking about women, there are always women meetings and all of that, there are women programs and all of that. We need to understand and realize the fact that it is actually women fostering these things. It's women planning these events, organizing these seminars, these prayers, these teachings, and all of that. So we need men who will actually stand up and start fostering these things in the men's sector as well, because you can't keep complaining about the fact that women are always doing this, women are always about themselves. So Women's Day is like 10,000 times a year, and Men's Day is like just 2 times, and even that 2 times or 1 time, and nobody's talking about it. It's because men are not talking about it. Men are not planning these things, and you can't really blame women, because women will talk. Men don't talk, and men don't feel like they should talk to themselves or listen to themselves, and that's why we find ourselves in the kind of situation that we find ourselves, right? Sadly, it's affecting us as a community and as a society, and I just hope that in the nearest future there will be more men coming out to encourage other men, plan seminars, organize events, celebrate themselves on Men's Day, because the last Men's Day, quite a lot of men don't see it as important, but on Women's Day, women are posting themselves and are, infusing it into the minds of the men in their lives. Oh, Women's Day is coming, you need to do this. But Men's Day, men don't care. And you can't expect the other gender to care too much about you, but that's by the way anyway. So, like I said, I'm just going to be talking about women because that's really, I'm going to be talking more about women because that's who I am, right? And so I can only speak a lot about what I really know, right? So I realized one time that I was accepting a character that was not my style because this person had the finance, this person had financial value. And if you get to a point in your life or in your dating life where the only reason why you are with someone is because they can provide for you financially, then you're already in a big mess. You're already making a big mistake. But a lot of people don't look at it this way. They just look at it, oh, I want to provide a man. I want someone who will provide for me, provide for my children. I want someone who will carry the 100% of the financial responsibilities and all of that. And it's cool to want that. I mean, it's okay to want that. But if that is the only reason why you're with someone, then you're already in for a big mess. You're already in for a big mess, for real. There has to be more to a man beyond the money or beyond the financial capacity that he has. There has to be more. Why are you with him? And I feel like it's so important for women to have their own money. And I know that there's been a lot of rhetoric around this topic of women having their own money. And I'm not speaking from the perspective of someone who has her own money currently, but probably that's why I'm not in a relationship at 27. Because I really believe that it's important to have yours, because that way you're not so particular about it with someone else. You're not looking and waiting on a savior to provide for you. You're able to make decisions when someone is moving left. When someone is moving left, you're able to make a decisions because that's not the only reason why you're with this person in the first place. That's not even the main reason. That's not even part of the reason. I feel like it should not even really be a thing, right? As much as you want someone who would be able to provide, who has a stable source of income, a good enough source of income, sources even, because right now in this economy, one cannot do it. One person can't do it. One source can't do it. You have to diversify. And so I'm not even speaking from a place of, oh, I'm already financially independent. But I'm just speaking from a place of the ideal, right? That's what should be. So that your reason for being in a relationship with somebody will not be because he has money. The society that we're in is patriarchal enough. The society that we're in is patriarchal, is men-centered, patriarchal enough for you to now want to subdue yourself and put your economic power into the hands of another person. And you need to understand that, especially for a man who doesn't know God, the more money he has, the more power he has to lord over you. The more he will lord his power over you. Imagine if you want to do something and you can't do it not because you don't want to do it, but because your husband will not doesn't want you to do it. And you still would have gone ahead to do it, but because he's the one that will kukuma give you the money. So in your mind, you're being submissive. But no, you're not being submissive. You don't have a choice. Power put under control is what submission is that I have this power, I have the ability to do this, but I'm gonna bend for you, not because I don't have a choice, but because I take you as authority, right, in this marriage and in this union. So our submission should be because we want to, not because we have to, right? And so money should not be your reason, right? Because you're in for a long thing and it would not profit you in the end. You don't want the only reason why you're with someone is because he would provide for you and provide for your children, right? Because you're having a bad marriage. As much as we do not encourage divorce and all of that, there are seasons and reasons why people divorce. And at this stage of my life, I'm just like, if it's not working, go home. All right, just go home. But a lot of people will still stay there and take the abuse, take the insults, take the embarrassment, take the mental health deterioration, take all of the pain, because they really cannot fend for themselves and they are all reliant on this person. You don't want to be there. So I would also say that one thing that is important for us to look out for as women is pressure from the other gender. And when I mean pressure from the other gender, I'm going to give an example. So one time I was talking to someone, and from his conversation, you could tell that he was, making interest known. And that wasn't a bad idea. I mean, make interest known. I'm not one of the women or the ladies or the girls who will make you feel bad for asking her out. If you feel bad, there's something wrong with you. Because you might be asking me out and I'm just smiling and you think I'm trying to embarrass you, but I see your tension. I'm trying to calm it down by smiling at you or giving you emojis that, if it's online or just, smacking my face, because I want you to not be too serious, okay? Don't, this is not too serious. If you ask me out and I'm not okay with it, or I want to say no, I'll say no. Tomorrow I'll still greet you. It has nothing to, it will not destroy your ego. If your ego is destroyed, then you should check yourself. It's not me. It can't be me. So, I mean, this person was, I knew what this was, right? And he was just talking about, things he's looking out for in a woman. And he was mentioning somebody, how that's the kind of wife he wants. And then I'm like, this person has been married for over 10 years. This person has been a wife for all of these years. You can't use me, a 27-year-old that's never been married, as, you can't use that person as a pedestal for me. That just comes from a place of pressure. It's just like, you're about to put my life under pressure, and there is now the need for me to measure up to this person. This person was not like this when they got married. This person was not like this when they started being a married woman, when they started doing their life. So you can't bring that to me. You can paint a picture for me, but don't make it about this person, don't make it about this woman. How about you go marry the woman, And so for me, I know that there are women who will jump on this and try to match up, try to, over exert themselves to fit into this, put themselves under undue, unnecessary pressure. If I am not putting you under pressure, I don't expect you to put me under pressure. As much as pressure can be good in some instances, painting a picture of someone else entirely that we both know, because that's the kind of wife that you want, it just makes me realize the fact that you don't really understand what this life called marriage is really about yet. Because this person wasn't like this when they got married. They grew into this wife and this woman that you're currently seeing, and you need to also allow me to grow. And if you would not give people the chance to grow without pressurizing them extensively or making them feel like they have to be somebody else to fit into your agenda, then I really don't know why you're talking to me. And so we need to be careful not to allow ourselves get under undue pressure, by becoming somebody else or fitting into somebody else's statistics or fitting into somebody else's picture and, imagination, because you want to land a husband. It's not a job. It's not a job where you have to rewrite your CV at every job that you're applying for to fit into the responsibilities and the criteria for that job. It's not a job. It's marriage. People should be allowed to grow. Room for growth and improvement and becoming, So yeah, I think that's very important, because even that woman that you're comparing me with, there's a very high chance that if you lived with her enough, she probably isn't what you really want. So really, I don't think I've ever looked at any man and felt like, this is the kind of man, this is the man that I want my man to be. Nope. I think that's unfair, because, I want my man to be a Christian, to be this. I have my idea in my head, but it's not the idea of, it's funny because it's not the idea of somebody. As much as I want my man to take after my father in some characters, I still don't want my man to be my father. You understand what I'm trying to say? So don't paint pictures to me about people that we look up to. You're pressurizing me. I can't be pressured, okay? One more thing that I would like to talk about is the fact that when women try to actively attract a man, especially if the person is someone who you think matches you or who you think is your kind of person, I really feel like it is not feminine to try to actively attract somebody to yourself. Because the more we try to attract somebody to ourselves, the higher chances that we are going to get in the trap of terrible people. Because what that does is, like, your whole life is going to be about attracting a man. So you might be leveling up, becoming a better person, doing all of these stuff, but deep down, what you're really doing it for is not yourself. You're doing it to be able to attract a better person, attract a better man, a higher earning man, somebody that, and I've just been thinking about it, like, is that really what we are meant to be doing, right? I feel like it is not our natural state to actively search or to actively want to get somebody to like us. And I have been in situations where I have actively tried to get people to like me. We listen, we don't judge, okay? And that's why I'm here to tell you people, it doesn't really work. And it's not because these people might not eventually show you signs that they probably like you, but it would be because that's what they know that you want, right? And so putting yourself in that unnatural, unfeminine state. You might be soft spoken, you might be gentle, you might be like soft babe and all of that. But once you move from being that soft babe into trying to actively get somebody to see you, like you, date you, marry you, no matter how soft spoken you are, babe, you're not in your feminine state. Okay, so that's something that we should be conscious about, right? Because you want love to come to you naturally. I love love. People that know me know, babe, me and love, well, like this. I love love, but I have come to the state where I have accepted the fact that it's not in my place. When it will come, it will come. If it takes a year, it will come. 2 years, it's gonna come. After 30, it will come. After 35, it's gonna come. After 40, it will come. Okay? Love will happen. And I know that when we are single, as single people, there is this sense of, will it ever happen? How will it happen? You're trying to figure it out in your head. I'm in that place, where I will try to figure like, who will it be? It's okay to nurse that idea of, oh, who is it gonna be? Because I'm just curious to know, right? I'm curious to know what God has in store. I'm curious to know who it will be. I'm curious to know how it will happen. Because when you're single, you're just in that place of, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen, when, how, with who. I don't know. And as human beings, because we have people around and we see people, we're like, oh, maybe it could be this person. So when I start talking to this person, I'm like, we're talking so constantly now, so it could be you. And then you're trying to make it happen. Don't do that. Okay? Just allow things to just unfold naturally. I believe that when love comes naturally, it is in the purest form, with our eyes wide open, our heart wide open, and our minds and heads working. Logic is at play as well, not just emotions taking the role. Your head is also working. And I feel like that is the place that we should just leave it to be at, just wait until it happens. Whenever it does, don't upgrade your life or try to live your life in anticipation. As much as we want to level up and want to become better people, let it be because we want to be better people for ourselves, not because you want to attract man. And I feel like even this goes for the opposite sex as well, the men as well. I mean, y'all are the one that did the searching, so I don't know what to say to you guys. So we're talking about things that you should look out for, avoid, to not get into the statistics of the PR of bad marriages, right? And I just want to quickly chip this one in before I go, and that is the fact that a lot of women would be in relationships or be in talking stages with with men that are unruly, bad character, who treats people terribly, who treats other women terribly, who treats their family terribly, who treats people around them terribly. And because he treats you nice and you're like passenger princess when he's fighting another driver, the fact that he treats you good, he has not yabbed you like he's yabbing the waitress, you're feeling like you're special and you're different and you're worthy. I don't know what to say to you. You need to understand the fact that somebody who is unruly in his behavior, your turn will soon come. I ended the talking stage one time because I just realized that this guy talks too much. Like, and I don't mean like want to communicate much or want to have conversations with me much. I mean, you're riding with someone and then you guys were having a conversation. This is a scenario now, having a conversation, and then maybe something happens on the road, somebody tries to run into him, or a bike man tried to run into him, and then he's, oh, she no see me, wait till they walk you, da 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 da. And all of that happens. And then the next 20 minutes of that ride, he's still talking about what's happened. So whatever you guys were talking about that was about you before that incident has gone, and then he keeps reiterating and going back and forth on the bike man that tried to run into him, and how he's terrible, and how he's mad, and how he's just, and I'm like, the bike man not there now. Why you want to use bike man just to wound me? I'm just like, and that's not like, different scenarios. You just realize the fact that, or this person is talking about their ex and they're bashing them, and you are in the relationship, you are feeling like a lot of, oh, bro, sis, that thing is gonna meet you. You are about to be an ex, and yeah, that's how they're gonna all these good things. And that's one of the ways to actually know if someone is a terrible person, if someone is a kind or good person. I'm not saying that all relationships end well. Most relationships do not end well because people are hurting, they're in pain, so it's understandable. But when you're with someone who would bash and make it all about themselves, or make paint their exes in the wrongest way, that when you now see that person, or maybe you know the person, you now see the person, you start looking at the person with that eye, like, ah, I used to treat my boyfriend like this. They have come to you playing the victim, acting like they are the good person, and this other person was just so terrible, and that was why they ended the relationship. Think well. You're about to be another victim in that person's life. And that's how they're going to talk about you to the other person. And that's one of the ways. If somebody is talking terribly about their ex without mentioning the bad thing that they also did, because no matter how bad or how good somebody is, two people contribute to the end of every relationship. Something you must have also contributed. I'm not saying that one person does not have the larger share of the blame, but you too, there must have been something you didn't do right in that relationship. So if whatever makes you want to tell me about your ex and their bad behavior, you must be able to tell me about you in that relationship and your bad behavior. And these are things that, and these things that I have listed are things that we all overlook, and we all act like they don't matter and they don't count. But at the end of the day, these are the things that make for terrible marriages, and why there's a lot of PR, because a lot of these things, we know it, we see them, we do them, we don't think of the repercussions or the consequences of all of these things. And then when we get into marriage, it's like, oh, I made a mistake, oh, this is terrible, oh, I wish I didn't do this, oh, marriages are bad, oh, men have scum, oh, women are terrible people. But at the end of the day, you made the decision, you made that terrible decision to be in that terrible marriage. It's not about you or your partner, it's the decisions that you have made, right? And so we need to be conscious, and we need to be careful about all of these decisions so that we don't enter into the start of the terrible marriages, right? So yeah, that's just really what this week's gist is about. I'm going to see you in another video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, like my video. The more likes I get, the more YouTube sees that, okay, my content is valuable, and then they recommend it to other people. So please like, share your thoughts in the comment section, and share to your friends, share on your WhatsApp, your Facebook, your Instagram. Just share and let this bless other people, right? I'm going to see you in my next video. Until then, you guys take care of yourself and don't be overwhelmed with this economy. Everybody's going to be okay. All right. Bye-bye.